I'm Eric, and I am proud to say that the Rational Response Squad deconverted me from Christianity, and I have never been happier. I have no fear, no chains. I am freeborn. I'm happy. I can do anything. I can go drink beer now. I can smoke. I can do whatever I want. I'm still moral. Oh, no. So thank you, Rational Response Squad, and Brian Sapient, and deconvert now.
This is Brian Sapient. I'm hanging out with Kelly. You can check us out at rationalresponders.com. Just wanted to read some of the email that we get. I'm in my positive email. We've done a lot of hate mail on the show. We've done a lot of hate mail, and we can do more. But some positive email, and I know that a lot of you feel the same way, so I thought we should probably read these, and maybe if there's anything that Kelly or I want to comment, which isn't really likely, but if there's anything we want to comment on, we will. So this is from AJM. It says, I would like to inform you I approve of your actions designed to arouse rational thought in people. As an agnostic individual, I am quite sick of Christianity, as it is the dominant mind-oppressing tool utilized in America. I have realized through experience some individuals may be able to process a few thoughts here and there, but the vast majority of the good faithful are, quote, true believers. It is impossible to get to those individuals. It is quite easy for me to view your approach as futile. However, I realize we do need people that will openly challenge stupid beliefs of people. However, I fear that should the masses reject Christianity, another irrational establishment of some type will take its place. I have a hard time having faith with the vast majority of people will adopt rational thought whenever Christianity will fall. Keep on challenging the nonsense that seems to define our society. And that was from AJM. Thanks a lot. This one's from Listen Think. He says, keep up the good work. I first heard about your group searching YouTube for Richard Dawkins after I saw his program, Root of All Evil. Now, I've seen a lot of your videos, the debate with the two nuts on Nightline, that crazy bitch Laura Ingraham, and others. I understand your frustration debating people who answer a question with the question over and over. Must feel like a battle that can never be won. And how could it? It's like trying to find a cure for a virus, but nobody wants you to find it. Then again, it might surprise you to know it's been 15 years since I've last spoken to a person face-to-face who believed in God. Religion, it's only on TV here. This is from Denmark. Religion, it's only on TV here when Muslim refugees bitch about how we don't respect their religion. And of course, debate about how dangerous it is that the religious conservatives get more and more power in the U.S. and how that could affect us here in Denmark. Our churches are almost empty on Sunday. God, it's simply not an issue anymore in our country. Some recent studies show that we're the happiest people in the world. Coincidence? I think not. It's mind-boggling that in the 21st century, your country still discusses the validation of evolution. Well, that's my 2 cents. Hope you will keep on fighting to free your country of this virus. And then he finished up with that quote from Nobel Prize-winning physicist Steven Weinberg. Good people do good things, bad people do bad things. For good people to do bad things, you need religion. He actually paraphrased that quote. All right, this one's too long for me. Here, you want to help me on this one, Kel? I'm losing my voice here.
Hello, everyone at the Rational Response Squad. I recently found out about you guys after listening to your interview of Richard Dawkins on YouTube. My name is Erin, and I'm a grad student in philosophy at the University of Kansas. I'm a Kant and Nietzsche scholar, and I'm currently working on my dissertation. I am also a huge fan of people like Dawkins, Sam Harris, Hitchens, except for his views of the war, and Daniel Dennett. I love that there is finally a growing and unapologetic atheist movement in this country. It's long overdue. However, I must say I'm a little disappointed in the recent surge of atheist books and advocates. After reading the main ones, I must say that they lack philosophical depth and many completely neglect the power of the problem of evil argument, which I think is the most powerful weapon the atheist has in their arsenal against theists. I think there has also been a failure to properly articulate the real nature of morality and how it is systematically manipulated and inverted by religion. Out of this frustration, I decided to write my own book on the subject with a special emphasis on the problem of evil and the essence of morality. I have also written a number of short essays and papers on related subjects, including an essay on David Hume and his famous essay on miracles, in which I argue that even if we accept the metaphysical possibility of miracles, understood as a violation of natural laws, we could never properly identify one as such because of the problem of induction and the role that the principle of sufficient reason plays in our understanding of causation. I also have a related essay that completely levels all of the intelligent design arguments.
I talked to this guy afterwards. This is a good example, and I forgot this one because we get so many. He actually finishes up by saying, I'm writing to you guys and hope that you can help me get this material out and published. As an unpublished grad student, it's virtually impossible to get anything published on a large scale. I really do believe in my work and that it can contribute greatly to the atheist movement. I am willing to send you selections or abstracts of my work. If you are willing and able to help me out, please let me know. I get people like this a lot that email, and I wonder if sometimes people wonder what I do, because sometimes you don't see me on the forum and you don't see me in the chat room. You don't see me at my computer. Of course, really, I just got the camera off of me. But I get a lot of people that send me stuff like this, and I get involved with a lot of these little projects where there's other people out there that need help. And I'm glad to do it. I mean, that's kind of the whole idea of what we were trying to do here, was form a whole group of people that can help in issues like this. In fact, another good example of this, we are now working with freethinkers.com, and that's Pyle's website. For those that don't know Pyle, he's also the owner of bsalert.com. But this is a good example of a project that'll take up some time kind of on the side that you guys might not even see. And we're going to play, hopefully, a big role there. And I see a couple of the folks in the chat room right now that I would hope would come over there. I would love to see my mod team over there helping to edit this wiki at some point. And really some of the more well-known posters at our website that maybe have the ability to write this stuff up. This idea at freethoughtpedia.com is to have, like a Wikipedia sort of site that, we can edit and we can help determine the content. And there's going to be a lot of stuff there that's going to relate directly to theistic, atheistic arguments where, Wikipedia doesn't cater to that sort of thought. So, of course, we'll also hopefully be able to maintain accurate portrayals of the different atheist groups out there versus the Wikipedia portrayal, which, of course, is at our Wikipedia feature. It's a weird feature. I'm going to go there right now. I mean, it really doesn't give you who we are. And hopefully this freethoughtpedia.com will be able to do that. Let's see here. Rational Response Squad on Wikipedia. This page gets butchered all the time. But even when it's done right, it's still not even done right. It says the Rational Response Squad, or RRS, is a group of outspoken atheists who aim to confront what they consider to be irrational claims. Okay, fine. What we consider to be irrational claims. Okay, fine. Most notably those made by Christianity. All right, sure. Maybe we talk about Christianity the most, but we would never say that. We would never say that the most notable irrational claim is Christianity. We would say religion in general, or God belief in general. That is the whining Christian bitches who want to say that they're the only ones that are being targeted. And so they've managed to make that be part of our entry. It goes on to say the co-founders of the RRS are Brian Sapient and Rook Hawkins. The Rational Response Squad, along with the filmmaker Brian Fleming, made headlines in December of 2006 with their blasphemy challenge. Now that's the description. That's it. I mean, it goes on to say what the blasphemy challenge is, what the response from Christians has been, what the response from atheists has been, what the response from YouTube has been. I mean, are you kidding me? For anybody that knows anything about the Rational Response Squad, they know that we're a lot bigger than a blasphemy challenge, and that is not the only one sentence that could be written about us in an unbiased way. But every time, these, and you guys can go back and look at this history, but every time these guys go in there and start explaining who we are, it gets butchered. And we have, I've got 2 people that are very high up on the Richard Dawkins website that are also Wikipedia editors, and they look at our wiki page as close as they can, and this is the best they can get on it, and these are like 2 people that know what they're doing. I don't care for Wikipedia. Personally, I think Wikipedia sucks. If this is what can happen to my page, and I see some of the stuff on some of the other pages, I see why Wikipedia is not a good source. The only thing it's good for is maybe give you half an idea of what something is. You can look up frog on Wikipedia and I think get a pretty good idea what it is, but if you're going to research in depth about something, get your information somewhere else. And I talked to Pyle about this with freethoughtpedia.com, and hopefully we'll have people that know what they're talking about that can put this stuff up and at least everything atheist related, not just Rational Response Squad, but Brights and Humanists, and they could be portrayed in a true sort of unbiased way and not with a, Christian unbiased way. So let's see, Christ Killer also sent us a message here. He says, I totally dig what you guys are doing. I myself have been engaged in online debates about the silliness of organized religion with a number of folks for some time now. I have also recently begun researching atheism online and have been thinking of creating a site with the goal of deprogramming brainwashed teens and coaxing them away from the influence of the Christian church. Your approach is a lot less radical than the path I have been planning to take, however. I like this one. Atheist Scumbag United did this to us. First of all, obviously, we want to be as blunt as you can be. And we try to find that line, as blunt as you can be without doing something illegal. That's our line. Can't be illegal. We saw Atheist Scumbag United talk about how they wanted to be more radical than the Rational Response Squad. And they ended up breaking up. It never happened. But you always wondered what that was going to be. So here's this guy. I'll give him a plug. ChristKilla.net. It's Christ, just how you'd think it would be spelled, and then Killa, KILLA.net. www.christkilla.net. He's going to take a more radical path than we take. And I hope that he lets us unite with him. And whatever the most radical path is, that's what we want to do. I was going to go for a much in-your-face style, he says, and come from a somewhat more humorous, satirical point of view. The site I am working on is ChristKilla.net. There's nothing there just yet, but I hope to have something up over the next few months. The story behind the name is that I was born to Jewish parents and have more than once been in fistfights because one or more God-fearing Christians has been upset that, quote, my people were directly responsible for the death of Christ. Hence the online handle ChristKilla was born. I know there was some LA artist who did some interactive Doom-like video game using that name, but I was posting under that handle as far back as late 2002. Wants to make sure he's in there for ChristKilla. That's his title. One of the ideas I zeroed in on a while back was the idea that Christians were terrorizing little kids with their religion and that priests and parents should be charged with, at the very least, child endangerment for exposing their young children to Christianity, not just for its ideas, but because they may be raped by their priest. Like I said, I was planning on taking a much more hardline approach to the matter. Well, that's not more hardline approach than us. We've already advocated that campaign. Go back into the discussion with Richard Dawkins and the time period when Richard Dawkins was on the show. We talked about that quite a bit. Richard Dawkins has argued for that in the United Kingdom. We're behind him, and if we can push for that sort of legislation here, that's great. I've always said, however, that I work best and our group works best getting to the people, and there are other groups that work best getting to our government and seeing that laws are changed within our government and that certain rights are upheld. Groups that I support that do that sort of thing are the Freedom from Religion Foundation. There's the Free Thought Society of Greater Philadelphia, Secular.org, which is a conglomeration of a bunch of groups, and they specifically work in government and have a lobbyist. And, of course, Ellen Johnson and the ACLU and Americans United for Separation of Church and State have done quite a bit in terms of law where they've had rulings upheld, or, even to that degree, you could put like a Michael Newdow or an Edwin Kagan on there, who's the head legal counsel for American Atheists, also been on the show a bunch of times. In fact, I have a video on YouTube with him denying the Holy Spirit on there. So we do take that approach. We are down for that. And if you can make that happen in government where you need our help, we're in. I completely agree. I think it's child abuse teaching our kids the sort of nonsense that we teach them. And, I don't see any reason why what Christian parents do to their children is any different than terrorism. It literally is putting the fear of hell and punishment into these children if they don't act a certain way. And a lot of times they're asked to act in ways that are unnatural. They're unnatural. So thanks for the letter, ChristKilla. Let's see, O.J. Besto, also known as Jay, said, just saw the debate against that Kirk Cameron and his sidekick. Really defeated them with common sense. Good going. Keep bringing them down. That was the whole letter. Also, Oliver won a book a week or two ago. Oliver Gringold said, I got the book today. I had no clue you were all going to sign it. You just made my friggin' week. We're glad, man. That's awesome.
It's funny to think that, like, actually signing something would make somebody happy. I don't know. It just feels, like, weird for me. You?
Well, I don't think it's as much that, like, our signature is of any financial value or anything like that.
No, I mean, I don't think
that
it's like they're
like
going to be able to sell it on eBay for, like, $1 million.
But I think maybe to some degree some of that stuff could have
just
some
made
sort
them
of
feel
sentimental
happy.
value. There are people that work just as hard as I do that I think it's a nice to have. You know, you have their signature in it, and it's like, hey, I know they held this book. You know? And that's all it is.
But do you remember the bet that we had back, like, in the very beginning on how long it would take us to sell the
I still have that stuff written down.
Pictures of us with Richard Carrier?
Yeah, I think I still have that written down.
Yeah. Who's winning?
I know I had a very long time. I mean, my timeline isn't even up yet. I mean, I said like 16 months or something. So.
Well, yeah, no, I think I said something like years.
Yeah.
Some like amount.
I think you might have said never.
Never.
You might have said never.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those that don't know what we're talking about, we
will die with at least one of those photographs in our possession.
Read that next email.
All right. Okay. It says, "Hey guys, I would just like to congratulate you on your site. It's just amazing to know that there is a community of rational, logical, and intelligent people left in the world. Keep up your efforts to free the world from religious ignorance. Luis from Columbia, South America." Sorry, I don't have my contacts in. It's hard to read when I'm like sitting that far away from the screen.
I can't find the info on the contest that we had. But yeah, the thing is, we made a bunch of pictures and autographed pictures of us with Richard Carrier. In fact, you can see that picture in the top image of rationalresponders.com.
Yeah, that's my first.
And we
were
selling pictures for like $20, including the shipping. I think we sold like 2 or 3. And we had like 20. So we made bets. We all placed bets on how long it would take to sell. And I think somebody said like 2 weeks. And we all like knew that was wrong.
Yeah, you're out of your mind.
I think Kelly said never. And I think I said something like 16 months or something like that. And there were a bunch of people in for varying amounts from 2 months to like 8 months or something like that. So there were a bunch of people that had bets, but it's just a pride bet. It was just a game.
Well, that was back in the pre-blasphemy challenge days when, like, nobody really knew who we were. Nothing like what it is now. Even though I still don't think autographed pictures of us with Richard Carrier would sell very quickly.
Darth, you kidding me that you know exactly what show that conversation took place in?
Show 26. That's funny.
I don't know if it actually took place in a show, but maybe it did. It was a post-Carrier show, yes.
Yeah, one of the last shows.
No, but I don't even know if we put it in the show.
That was my first day with the Rational Response Squad. I mean, I had just gone there the night before to like hang out and get drunk and meet Richard Carrier, and they begged me to never leave.
It's funny, Zombie's in the chat room. He says, "Did you ever think they wanted the picture of Richard Carrier more than of the RRS?" And yeah, that was what we were all joking about at the time. We were all saying nobody would get the picture because of us at all. Nobody. I think Rook said something like it was $14.90 for Richard Carrier's autograph, and it was 3 cents for each of our autographs. For the total of $15. Obviously, who would want our photos and whatnot?
Although, I mean,
of course. Then again, I've got Richard Carrier calling me when we're going to be on stage with Ray Comfort, saying, "Hey, would you mind carrying my book up there too?"
Yeah.
So hey, some good's happening here.
I have gotten offers for autographed pictures of me, but of course that would probably be in some certain state of undress, and not that I'm opposed to that anyway. I would be totally willing to do it if I thought it was going to make me enough money, and if I could find a photographer who could make me look amazing and have no flaws.
Darth Josh wants me to read a particular email. For those that don't know, when you send a letter to us at Letters to Support, the Rational Response Squad, as a energy booster to everybody who works really, really hard on our site and as a core part of our team, there's about 25 people or so that get a copy of that email. So as soon as you send a letter saying, "Hey, Rational Response Squad, I love you," that goes to like 25 of us that help run the squad. So it, brightens up our days. And Darth wants me to read this one here. And this one made a big impact on Darth and Susan. So we'll just call him Jay for now. He says, Dear Rational Response Squad, I can't believe it's been a full year since I have come out of the closet about my atheism, and nonetheless, it was a theist that led me to finding your squad. I have been meaning to write this letter to you for some time now, but I just couldn't find the right words to express the amount of gratitude I feel towards you for helping me out through one of the hardest parts of my life. I was feeling alone, confused, insecure, and unsure of my own rationality before I met, or rather, watched your show. And after watching your shows, I started to feel enraged, reassured, and open to the truths of this world and the evil that was going on in it. I felt as if I have just woken up from a deep dream in which I was a puppet of society and its rules, and I felt overcome with emotions that I never knew I could feel. I wanted to go to every corrupt senator and leader in the country and personally kick their asses for letting all of this abuse in the world go unnoticed right under their noses. You have also helped me realize and wake up to some of my own personal problems that I have been denying all my life, such as depression, genophobia, phonophobia, venostrophobia, podophobia, selamophobia, aclophobia, and philophobia. Do you know what more than 3 of those are?
No.
Yeah, I think if Kelly and I don't know what those things are, then you don't even have them. So I think you can go back to denying them, Jay. Yeah, I guess I got to look them up. Here we go. Aclophobia is a fear of crowds. Podophobia is a fear of feet. Do you even call it a fear of feet, or do you just like... I guess it's a varying degree of how scared you are of the feet, but I think a lot of people just think feet are ugly or smelly or something, But eventually they get over them, generally, unless of course you have podophobia. Anyway, Jay, I hope that if you're listening, you're not taking any of this seriously. I kid around. You say thanks to your efforts, and here's the clincher. This is I guess what really moved Darth and Susan. He said, thanks to your efforts, I am trying to seek help for all of my problems that would have probably brought me to suicide in the end. By the way, I think it's funny that the churches are the ones who say they are saving souls, but your squad seems to be the only one actually saving lives. He talks about how he's only in high school at the very end. So then I wrote back to him. Here's part of his response. I woke up this morning and looked at my email unexpecting to see any response, and even if there was one, I was expecting a message that would be scripted and with a misspelled name. Anyways, after reading your response, I was just left paralyzed. I couldn't believe that the Brian Sapient actually took the time to read my letter of thanks and nonetheless replied with an offer to come on the show. I have to admit, I was in complete shell shock for the next 6 hours in pure disbelief in the offer you have extended forth my way, and if I was to respond right then and there, I would have most definitely said yes without a second thought. By the way, the particular offer that I extended to him was to have a specific psychologist come on the show and talk with him on the show. He then goes on to say, after spending the time thinking about the show, I realized that that would not be the most rational answer for me to choose, for if I was to make any huge mistake or say something deeply regrettable, then I would have to live with that for the rest of my life, and I know that I would remember that mistake every time I would attempt to watch the show from then on out. I would ultimately lose my biggest safe haven, the Rational Response Squad, so to speak. I did say in my original message that I would never will be able to repay you for the amount of good you have done for me, and so I say this to you. If you feel that I must appear on your show, then I am willing to try and make the necessary arrangements in order to appear. However, if you don't feel strongly about it, or you could find someone else that is more suited and fit to speak of their life experiences on your show, then that would work out greatly for me. I hope you understand, and with sincere regards. Obviously, I want him to come on the show for any reason, to talk to a psychologist, to just talk to us. His story does just as much for me as I feel like anything I would have done for him. That feels good to know that we're affecting people like that. So, should we wrap it all up with some hate mail? I think we should. All right, this one person who is a real idiot. In order to find them, I did a search for Moran in my email. So this girl was super dumb. And I'll go through the emails and explain it all. Her name's Jessica Pavlet. Jessica_Pavlet at yahoo.com. Pavlat. Here's her original email to us. I watched the show on ABC.com where you took on the guys from Way of the Master. It was great. I loved Kelly's outfit. Wow, she looked so professional. The next time she goes on TV, she should maybe hire a stylist. In other words, it is very hard to take you guys serious when you look like you just left a nightclub. Anyway, I believe in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. I know you don't, and that is your choice. Like the guys from the Way of the Master said, you put all of your faith in history books, but you won't put any into one of the oldest books of our time, the Bible. Brian, get a clue and stop reading off a piece of paper on national television. Maybe do a little more research so you don't sound so unprepared. Kelly, get a new outfit. Peace.
Yeah, that was really funny, too, because clearly I purposely wanted to look professional. And, oh, my God, I was wrong. Like, hello. Clearly
and then, of course,
people didn't get the point
looking like you just left a nightclub. She says it's hard to take you serious when you look like you just left a nightclub. Obviously, your attire should have nothing at all. So, could you pick something further away from equating something to your actual arguments?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just silly. The
weather. The weather would be further away.
Yeah. I purposely...
It's hard to take you seriously when it's raining outside.
Went out of my way to wear something that would be provocative. And I did this for multiple reasons. One of them is because I like to dispel the myth that attractive women can't possibly be intelligent. Right. And also because I just enjoyed wearing a dress like that in church. I wanted to throw Ray and Kirk off, which it worked. You should have seen Ray Comfort when he walked into the building and was like, "Oh, is that Kelly? Interesting." And so there were multiple reasons why I chose to dress the way that I did. And none of them had anything to do with looking professional, because looking professional in what sense? What are you talking about? If you want to talk about my profession, I'm a stripper. So, I looked really fucking professional.
So anyway, she talks about how we put faith in our history books. Of course, we explained that even in the debate, if she got a chance to listen to it, that we don't put faith in history books, actually, and neither do Ray and Kirk, or you don't have to put faith in history books. History books that use the historical method come to consensus opinions, and those are considered reasonably expected to be the most valid and accurate portrayal of a historical event, and therefore the most logical to believe until there's reason to believe in something else or some other version of the story. And yeah, we don't put faith in history books. Thanks, though, Jessica. And then, of course, she says, get a clue and stop reading off a piece of paper on national television. She's right. I shouldn't have read off a piece of paper on national television. But I wanted to make sure I said what I wanted to say, and that in the environment, I didn't completely forget what to say. So, okay, so those are the first emails, right? I wrote back, we feel the love of Jesus in your email. And she writes back, just thought you might like this. And she sends us a link to a piece about evolution. And she has absolutely no fucking clue how to interpret the information at the link that she sent us. She sent us a link called Fossils Challenge Old Evolution Theory on Yahoo News from August 8th. It's an interesting piece. It talks about a potential different branch of Homo habilis. Well, I'll read directly. It says, the old theory is that the first and oldest species in our family tree, Homo habilis, evolved into Homo erectus, which then became human, Homo sapiens. But Leakey's finds suggest that those two earlier species actually lived side by side about 1.5 million years ago in parts of Kenya for at least 500,000 years. She and her research colleagues report the discovery in a paper published in Thursday's journal Nature. Okay, so anyway. So it talks about this new theory, right? Obviously, everybody working on this new theory are evolutionists. But Jessica doesn't know that? Or she's just so Christ-hearted that when she sees the title of something that says Fossils Challenge Old Evolution Theory, she just sends it over? Because it was like, she writes back, just thought you might like this. And then she sent the link. Like she had no defense. So we wrote back, you realize the article explains how evolution occurs, right? And then she writes back, we must have read two different articles. Here is a tidbit from the article that I think you missed. Quote, The more we know, the more complex the story gets, he said. Scientists used to think Homo sapiens evolved from Neanderthals, but we know that both species lived during the same time period, that we did not come from Neanderthals. Bill Kimball, which, by the way, is pretty much basic knowledge for anybody that has any clue about human evolution. And she writes, interesting, huh? Maybe before you comment, you should actually read the article. Now, what she doesn't realize is, one, I read the whole entire article, and two, the particular fact that she's pointing out to me isn't the fact that the article was touching it on, is a 30-year-old piece of information, is something that I've known ever since the first day I ever even learned human evolution, that pretty much everybody, 20 to 35 years old, this is how they originally learned evolution, that Neanderthals were always separate from Homo sapiens, that we did not come from them. You're a fucking moron. You really are really fucking dumb, Jessica. You're really fucking stupid. I wrote back, yes, very interesting. I actually already knew that point. Now, are you going to continue to dodge the point? The article is a proof of evolution, you stooge. Evolution is a theory based on factual data. As we learn more data, the theory changes. The idea that we evolved from less complex creatures has never changed. The theory is simply revised as new evidence comes in. This is all very basic and common science that a ninth grader can understand. You, however, think it makes some sort of case for theism. This makes you a moron, and an obnoxious, arrogant moron at that. She writes back, did you understand the article? Just because it wasn't written at your ninth grade education level, I will explain it a little clearer. Are you a ninth grader? Hence the name calling? Thank you for Webster's dictionary definition of evolution, which, by the way, when I wrote that description of evolution, I did not look at any dictionary, and I've got a feeling that if I look at Webster's dictionary, it is not the definition. She says, although that is not the concept I am trying to get across to you. Yes, evolution is a theory, but up until a few days ago, a huge discovery was made, and the fiction of Darwin's theory is slowly being brought to the light. Not one sentence in that article even lends a whisper to the notion that there's something wrong with the theory of evolution. Everything in the article is a reproof of the theory of evolution. Everything. Every word. Okay? But she thinks something in there makes Darwin's theory fiction. So she says, the article gives proof that the species that supposedly evolved from the other lived during the same time period. And then she goes into some straight out of Kirk, Cameron, Todd, Friel weird analogy that doesn't even make sense. And even if it did make sense, it wouldn't even have been a point. She says, that would be like my mother and my great, 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 I could add a few more greats in here, grandmother being born at the same time and living during the same time period. It is impossible. Yeah, no shit, dumbass. And nobody said that Homo habilis and Homo erectus would be great, 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 great grandparents living during the same time. Scientists are willing to change as new evidence comes in. If they can prove that Homo habilis and Homo erectus lived on the same time on this planet, then they've shown their theory to be a little bit different than they understood it. Actually, both species could exist at the same time, while one is slowly dying off and the other more advantageous species is dominating. It is very possible that one could have evolved from the other and both existed on the Earth at the same time. She says, I always love when somebody